Hey, this is OXDF, and today we're going to look at making a zip file containing a symbolic link and submitting it to a website in Python. And so this is part of the zipping box from HackTheBox, and I'll go ahead and show you exactly what the challenge is. So we've got this web page here. It's got tiny text, but you don't have to read it right now. If we go ahead and make a a file with a symlink in it, and I got a link to my blog post in the description here that shows how we figured this out and found it, but so if we make a symlink, right, here, so we do like ln -s etsy hosts, right? And so now we have, if we look here, we've got a link to Etsy hosts. And if we do now zip, and we give it the symlinks flag, and now we can do test.zip and hosts. Now, if we look at that zip, what did I call it? Test.zip. You can see we've got a single file inside. It's only 10 bytes long. It's super short. It is the symlink. If I hadn't put -- symlinks here, then I would have gotten the my Etsy host file, which is much bigger. Like this, which is much more, 10,000 bytes. So clearly this is just a symlink. That's good. Now, if we come here and browse and zipping test zip, and we upload this, it must have a PDF extension. Oh, okay, of course. So let's do move host to host.pdf. And now we will remove test.zip. We will now rezip it like that. We can check it just to be sure. Looks good. We'll add test.zip here. We will upload. And again, it's kind of small text, but you can see in this yellow, it gives me a path to check and make sure that the uploaded PDF looks right. And if I click on that, I don't get anything. But if I come over here to burp, and I've got this setup going through Foxy Proxy based on patterns. I've got a video showing how I do that. It's actually my most, the video that still gets the most hits on YouTube. I'll include a link here. But you can see here, we do our post /upload, and then we do our get here. And well, it doesn't, the browser is saying, hey, it's a zip file. I'm trying to show a zip, or sorry, a PDF file. I'm trying to show a PDF, and it doesn't quite work right. You can see the PDF viewers here. What's really here is just the local host, or the host file of the zipping machine. So that's the exploit. That's what we want to do. What we don't want to do is every time we want to check a file, create the link, put it in a zip file, upload it, blah, blah. We don't want a Python script where I say, give me Etsy host, and boom, Etsy host comes back. So that's what we're going to work on. Here we will open up VS Code because it's just an easier place to do development. I do trust me. And let's make this a little bigger. I might see if I can get this in a place where we can see it. Whoa, okay. So what do we want to do? There's going to be really two parts to this. One, how do I get a symlink in a zip file? And two, how do I submit the zip file to the website? So we'll come here and we'll do read file.py. We will start with a shebang. Oops. User bin and python 3. Now to do this, we can start by trying to write the zip file. So I guess real quick, we can start with if len sys.argv is less than, and I'm going to need to take in the path I want to get as well as the host I want to go to. So I'm just going to say 3 to begin with, and I can say print usage sys dot argv 0. That's going to always be the file that was run. Host. Man, I'm having trouble typing today. Target file path. That looks good. And then we can do a sys.exit. We better import sys. Not systemd, just sys. There we go. All right, so that looks good. We've done with that. We can even now say host equals sys.argv1, file path equals sys.argv2. Okay, so now I'm gonna write this zip, right? I'm gonna use, I hate writing files to disk when I don't have to. There's nothing wrong with it. It bugs my OCD, I guess. So we're gonna say import io. And what io is gonna allow us to do is we can now say zip buffer equals io.BytesIO. And this is gonna create for me what feels to Python like a file-like object, like a handle to a file on disk, but it's just in memory. And so when I have that, now I can say with zip file .zip. Oh, I should import zip file. Import zip file. Sweet. We're getting lots of space here. Let's see. zip file like that. And now I'm gonna use the zip buffer is gonna be my zip file that I'm opening. I'm gonna open that for writing as zip file. We'll say it like that. It's gonna be like slightly different. So now we've got our file handle object to the zip file, which is going to be our handle into the IO buffer. And so we could say, we could put a file in there, but the problem is we need to make sure this gets set up as a link, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go ahead and create a zip info object. And this, let me find the post here. This right here, I'll include this link in the description, but this description here of how to do this, how to put a symlink into a Python zip file was incredibly useful. And you can see here, the whole point we're gonna do is we're gonna create a zip info, we're gonna set the create system to 3, and we're gonna turn on this external attribute of, they just set it hard here. What you really wanna do, I like this one right here, where you are basically turning on the A bit here, the A bits in this external attribute set of flags. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna say zip info is equal to, and now I can say zip file dot zip info on, this is where we're going to name our thing. So I'm just going to call it, because we're uploading a resume. So we'll say resume.pdf, and then we can say zip info dot create system, just like they do is 3. And we can say zip info dot external attributes or equals OXA. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's right. Just to be sure, why don't I copy that off Stack Exchange? Yeah, okay. And then we can do zip file, and that's a reference to this right here, this handle right here that we've opened. Dot write string, and we'll do zip info to define the file we're writing to, or the file we're writing, and the file we're going to write is file path. And so that is going to write the symlink to the file path into a file called resume.pdf in the zip file that's in this buffer. And so we can test this. We can say with open test.zip, I already made test.zip, automated.zip as f, and we can do f.write zip buffer.get, is it contents? Get buffer. We'll try that. And so now let's try this. We'll run this. Control squiggly to give me a terminal. And close that. I can do Python read file. We need a host, and our host is 1010 and 10.10.11 229, I think. And we'll call this at the host name. And let's see, there's no such file directory, automated.zip. We got to for writing. In fact, we're going to make sure we want to write this as a binary. All right, so let's see what we got there. If we do a file on automated.zip, it's a zip archive. If we do an unzip on -l on automated.zip, we've got something here that looks, it's resume.pdf. That's the name we set it as. It's got a length of 13, which is small. I wonder if that's the length of echo -n etsy host name into word count -c. The length of that thing. So that's all we've written in there. That's good. Which I think matches up. Let's see, what was our other one? Was etsy hosts unzip nsl test.zip was 10. And of course that is 3 less. So that's the same. It looks the same. That's good. I think we're in a pretty good spot here. Now we're not going to actually write this out to a file because again, we don't want to write it to disk. So now we're going to work on how do we upload. We'll get rid of that. We don't need you. We will need the requests module. We can do this. I'll do it at the end. Import requests. And with the request module, oh, wait, before I do that, there's one thing I'm noticing here. This date time is very weird. Not this one. This one, 1980-101. And if we come here, and look here on the documentation for zip file, under zip info objects, let's see if we can make this bigger. Date time. There is here we go. There's an object in this zip info that sets the date and time. And because I didn't, if you just pass this a file that you're putting into zip, it grabs the metadata off the file. But because we're creating a brand new zip info object, we would have to set this if we want it to not be different. You don't have to do this, but if you're trying to blend in and look like you belong, having a file from 1980 is a little bit weird. And so we can do this pretty easily, right? We can do zipinfo.date time is equal to, and we've got to see, we'll come up here and we'll do from date time import date time. And now we just need to give this a tuple, is what the docs say here. So we'll say date time now, and then it's called time tuple like that. And we just need to give it the first 6, like that. And now I wish I hadn't deleted that with open automated.zip write binary as f.write zip file get buffer. What was it? Get buffer. Why is that not working? Zip. Oh, that's not right. Oh, it's because it's zip buffer. There we go. Get buffer, like that. So now, if we run this again, we need to make that a function. We should also remove automated.zip. We run this, and now if we do an unzip, -L on automated.zip, now we've set the time to today. So again, not necessary, but it's whenever you're doing if you want to get better at programming, push yourself to figure out these little things and make them better, right? Okay, so we can comment this out. And now we're gonna go to requests. So if we come here, we can take a look at our post here. We can see, let's make this bigger. It's a post to upload.php. It's a form, it's a multi-part form data with the raw file here in the zip file name, and then a submit here. And so when we do this, let's see, we're going to do requests.post. The post is going to go to http / then our host like that, upload.php. And then we are going to need to give it some things. So we're going to need to say files equals, and we can do zip file, colon like that. And I'm just going to leave this blank for now. And the other thing we're going to need is we want to pass it this submit thing. But see, like with this one, well, let's go ahead and do this one first, actually. So we'll say files equals, and this is going to be a tuple. And so the first thing we're going to need is the name. So we'll say like resume.pdf .zip, because we're uploading a zip, right? The file's zip, yeah, the resume zip. And then we're going to need zip buffer.get buffer like that. That'll be the contents. And then if we want, so that covers this. We got zip file here. The file name is test.zip. That's going to be this resume.zip right here. That's the zip file. The content type we're going to want to specify. So we can say, we can put that as a header over here. So we can say content type application.pdf .zip /zip. All right, so now we've got our file object. So now we can say zip file equals files. Now, what we don't want to do, we could specify, if we try to specify the submit thing as a file here, it actually will kind of error out. So we can do data equals, and what is this thing called? Submit. Just grab a copy. And this really just looks like the empty string, so we'll go with that. I think that looks reasonable. What are we missing here? Do we have an error somewhere? So hard to see on this, the font. Making the font big enough to do a video, man. It's got downsides. Let's see. Okay. Request.post files equals data equals. Huh. It's not liking the name files. Let's grab this and put it here and see if that fixes it. All right. Unterminated expression. We open there. Oh, it helps if we terminate that. Beautiful. Okay. So this is going to post for us. We're going to need to get the response. So let's still get the response equals. And a good response, come here and see, it's going to have file successfully uploaded. So we'll do that. We'll say print file successfully uploaded in response.text. So now make this a little bigger, run you, and true, we've successfully uploaded the file. So what we really want to do now is we want to say, okay, we need to get this URL. And so I think the easiest way to do this is just going to be with a regex. So we'll say maybe following path through there. Seems good, right? So we can come here and we can say re.findAll. We're going to need the re library. Import re. So re.findAll. We'll start with just pasting in our thing like that, comma, response.text. Boom. So this is what we want to capture. So we'll grab this. We'll do capture.star. And so this is going to create a capture group of whatever's in here. And interestingly, this is actually the exact same thing. So we can \1 this and say, you know, this has to match that. And now maybe we're good. Let's see, we want to do, this is going to find also, it's going to return a list. My favorite trick of late is to say URL comma this equals. And what this says is I expect this list to be exactly one thing long. So unpack it into this thing called URL. If this were two things long, it would throw an error, which is kind of what I want. I only expect to find one URL like this. So, and so just for that, we can say print URL, see what it looks like. We've got a URL. We can even, so now let's just try it here. So now we can do response equals request.get HTTP post slash, and then the rest of this is just going to be URL with brackets around it. And we can print response.text. Try that. So if we try this again, we got the host name. We can get the hosts. There's our hosts. So we are reading files. Now, what happens if we try to read a binary file? So we're going to make this a little bit slicker because I want to be able to read like bin bash, right? So if I do bin bash, save as zip bash like this, guessing it's not gonna like that, I don't think. Let's see, vim zip bash. No, it's an elf. Let's try it. File zip bash. It's got corrupted program header size, and that's because we're calling the response.text. What we really want is the response.content. And so what we're going to do instead of printing is sys.standardout.write. Actually, if you do buffer.write, it's going to be better. We can do response and then .content like that. And now this should do, if we do things we did up here, if that's the host, it should look exactly the same. It doesn't add a new line to the end. That's actually in some ways better. But now if we do this to zip bash, we can do a file on zip bash, and that looks better. We could even do something where we say md5 sum zip bash, and grab this hash, and jump over here to like VirusTotal. And this is just a nice trick to say like, has this thing ever been seen before? So if we come here and we search for this hash, let's see if make this bigger so we can see it. Last analyzed 28 days ago. Let's go to details. So first submission, December 2022, so a little over a year ago. So this tells me if I had corrupted this in some way, it would not show up in VirusTotal uploaded multiple times. So the fact that it has been tells me I probably got the binary right. So if I needed to exfil a binary, this would help me do that. Yeah, I think we got this working. So this was a fun little program to write, nothing too complicated. The big takeaways here that I think were interesting is figuring out how to create the zip file with symlinks inside, how to do that without writing the zip file to disk, and then using it to post to the site. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this was useful for you, and I'll talk to you next time.